Do online personal training programs actually work? G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. My name's Aaron, and in today's video, we are discussing whether or not online personal training programs actually work. So as someone who has spent well over $10,000 in the last 4 to 5 years on online personal training programs, I felt reasonably well qualified to make this video. And I've distilled it down to what I think are the 4 key factors that determine whether or not an online program will work for you or not, based on my own personal experience. So I thought I'd share with you those 4 key factors, and then also a bit about my journey, where I started with online training and how that progressed, all the different platforms I've tried, which ones worked, which ones didn't, and leave you with some thoughts on those. To walk you through my online training journey, we start with one of those classic supplement company online, buy a bucket of protein powder and enter the 12-week transformational challenge thing. So that was the first time I did any sort of online program, and basically I bought this bucket of protein powder. It was, $60, and I was eligible to enter this transformation contest thing, and I had to take a photo with the newspaper in my undies and in dim lighting initially, and sort of, look as terrible as you can on day 1. And then at the end of 12 weeks, I had better lighting and a nicer pair of undies and flexed and tried to make myself look more impressive than I actually was. But you know what? I had a mate that did that one with me, and I actually got some results. I gained some muscle, I dropped a little bit of fat, I kind of got into shape. But the problem was, when it ended, there was no sort of off-ramp for that program. So what I found was I quickly just regressed and lost my way, and it all sort of went pear-shaped from there. So after the supplement challenge, I was curious about online training, and calisthenics had just started to take off. And there was a guy called Frank Medrano, who was really, I guess, the pinnacle of the calisthenics guys at that time. He was doing these amazing typewriter levitating pull-ups and all sorts of crazy stuff. So he had a program online. I don't know, it was like 40 or 50 bucks. So I put my credit card details in and bought it. I got a PDF, and it was emailed to me, and I went along to the gym and I tried to do it for a bit, but I just found it to be pretty boring, and there was nothing in it that was overly new to me. Pull-ups and dips, push-ups, bodyweight squats. So I got bored with it really quickly, and I just couldn't stick with it or follow through with it. So that was the end of that. So I started searching around online for bodyweight movement programs, and I was lucky enough to get along to an Ido Portal workshop in Sydney and take part in a 2-day workshop, which was absolutely incredible. It blew my mind, and I just wanted to dive right into movement culture. And not only did he incorporate calisthenics, but there was some gymnastics, some acrobatics, some dance, some capoeira, all sorts of stuff. So there was no one near where I lived that had studied under him or that could teach his method. So I did inquire online. At the time, I was running a law firm. I was very busy. I had 2 small kids, and the time commitment required by their team was a bit more than I could manage at that time. So it turned me off a little bit, and I looked for something that I could probably find a bit more manageable with my time availability. So I found Gymnastic Bodies online, and I bought their handstand program and their foundations program, and I have to say that they were fantastic. I really enjoyed the detail of those programs. There were progressions from ground zero right through to fairly advanced movements. At that time, I'd never done a handstand. I couldn't do a handstand. I was 35, and within a few months, I was able to hold a freestanding handstand. It was very effective. Within 6 months, I was doing an okay straddle planche, and I was starting to explore some work on the rings. So there was a forum that came with the subscription at the time. It was like a one-off fee at the time. I think it might have changed now, but that gave you access to certain programs, and there was a forum so you could ask questions. It had some workout planning tools, scheduling tools. So I found it was a bit complex when I first got on there, and it was a bit overwhelming, but I found that really helped launch me into body weight and movement work. I recommended it to a few friends, but some of them found it a little boring because the drills, for example, when you're learning handstands, they start you with just, really basic wrist preparations. You're on the wall a lot before you even sort of get to freestanding handstands. So some people find that level of detail a bit slow and a bit boring. So I liked it. It worked for me. So I was happy with that, and yeah, would highly recommend Gymnastic Bodies. So after about a year and a half of working the Gymnastic Bodies, foundations and handstand programs, I started to feel like I needed a change. I needed to mix things up. You do get a bit stale with the same thing over time. So I was lucky enough to meet Kirsty, the garage gym girl. I met her on Instagram, and she came to Australia with her beautiful wife, and we got to work out together, which was fantastic. And she was launching a new handstand platform that she has. You can check that out, Garage Gym Girl. And I signed up to be a guinea pig in her testing model. And from that, I learned how to press to handstand within 6 weeks or so. So I went from just doing a normal freestanding handstand to being able to press to handstand doing her program. I found that one particularly excellent because it also had a level of personalized coaching support. So in addition to the videos, which showed you the movements, it also came with personalized feedback. So you had to submit your videos and show yourself attempting the movements, and then you would get personalized feedback. So I found that combination to be fantastic. And that's something I started to look for going forward. So over the years, to mix things up, I did buy various yoga DVDs or workout videos or online videos, I thought, just to mix things up. And I found those follow along yoga videos to be quite good. I really liked Dylan Werner. I got a few of his, and I really liked Mark Roberts. So I bought some of their videos, and I would do those just to mix things up. And I found the follow along things pretty great because you don't have to really think about it. You just copy what they do. I'm happy to do that on my own. So I think they're pretty good value. I mean, for $30, you can get a couple of different workouts, and you can do them whenever you want, and you've always got them there to come back to. So I think they're pretty good value to have in your mix of tools. So after I finished my work with Kirsty at Garage Gym Girl, I was able to press the handstand. I was doing some handstands. I could use the rings. I could do some basic acrobatics, but I really wanted to get into the Locomotion soft acrobatic work. And I still couldn't quite find enough time to devote to Ido's online training. So I reached out to a teacher in Germany, Neil Teisner. I'll leave his description link in the description below. And he offered a 6-week program into soft acrobatics, an introduction into floor work, some arching, some spirals, and just some basic sort of tricking or soft acrobatics. And I really enjoyed that because he would give you a program. It had little hyperlinks with the YouTube videos that you could watch, and then you would submit your attempts. Each week you would, send him copies of your work, and he would give you feedback on that. So I found that to be, again, really good value for money, because it gave you the best of both worlds, really. The videos that you could watch, you could do it in your own time, but then also you had really personalized feedback. So that was a good one. I guess what I found with the locomotion and soft acrobatic work, it was always kind of hard to find teachers that offered that stuff online. And thankfully, it came about because of the pandemic. So I'm not sure that's a good thing, but a lot of teachers all of a sudden offered online services. So I was lucky enough to come across Jackson Lenan, who is out of Brisbane, who is around an hour and a half, 2 hours south of me, which was appealing because I thought, well, when the gyms do open back up, I might even be able to go down and train with him in person at some point. He had studied under Ido Portal and some of Ido's high-level students. So I did some online training with him, and I'm in my third phase now, and it's been amazing. I've really enjoyed his style. So he tests you to see where you're at the start. You have a consult about your goals, what you want to work on. So, I told him I wanted to learn locomotion, ring patterns, and handstands, stall to press, that sort of thing. So he then custom designs me a program, and they go for 2 months. And every week I have to make submissions, and he tells me whether or not they're good enough. If not, I've got to resubmit, keep working on things, keep tweaking things, and you get through your 2 months. It's very hard. It's a lot of hard work, but he factors in how much time you have. So it's really suited me, and I've really enjoyed that style of training. I've got fantastic results. I couldn't seem to link up the locomotion until I started getting some coaching from someone like Jackson. So my ring work got better, my handstand holds have come a long way. I'm almost stall depressing now, so I'm this close. So I have huge praise for his work and that style of online training. So we've been through my personal online training experience, and I thought I would leave you with what I think are the 4 key factors that will determine whether or not your online training experience is successful or not. So starting with number 1, you need to be fairly honest with yourself. Training online means you're going to have to need a certain amount of self-discipline to do the work, because you're not going to have a coach to turn up for and someone there to tell you what to do or give you live feedback at the time of the workout. So it could also mean you might have to be training alone sometimes. You're not in a group. So if you're the sort of person that feeds off group energy or a coach right there, you might struggle with some of the online programs out there. So just be honest with the style of training you enjoy and pick a program that suits. Point number 2, the coach or the teacher is important. You have to like them. I have to like them. To learn from them, I have to like them. If you don't like them, or you think they're a knob or whatever, you're probably not going to stick with it. So you need to like them, and they need to know what they're doing. So you need to see that they can do the skills that they're teaching. For one, that they embody what they teach, and 2, that they have a body of work to show for it, that they have students who can also do these things. And if you can see that, then they have experience and qualifications to teach you. So look out for those things, but you got to like them. Point number 3, the cost. You can't sign up for something you can't afford. So it has to be cost relevant for you, has to be affordable for you. But also, I will say with that it's not just the price that matters, it's the value. And what I mean by that is some of the, certainly not the most expensive ones, but what I find is the really cheap ones that I've bought, I tend to not follow and just discard. But the ones where I invest a bit more in, I tend to commit because I want to get value out of it. Now, that's not to say that the more expensive they are, the better they are. I don't think that's the case. I just think you need to look for value for money. So you need to find something that is obviously within your budget, but it's going to make you commit. Point number 4, the program itself. The program has to have stuff that you enjoy doing. I hate burpees. So if you send me a program and it's all burpees, I'm not doing it. So it has to have things that you enjoy. And like I said, I wanted to learn locomotion, rings, and handstands. So if you sent me a program after I want to learn those things, but in my program there's kettlebells and other stuff, well, I'm probably not going to do it because I'm not going to enjoy it. Even though there's nothing wrong with those exercises, they're really cool, but I'm interested in some other things right now. So you've got to choose a program that has stuff that you're going to enjoy and actually do. Otherwise, you're just not going to stick with it. Lastly, I'll just say about the program that it needs to be well designed. So it needs to allow for progression over time, and it needs to be suited to you. So if you've got certain weaknesses or certain issues, maybe you've got dodgy knees and it's got, you know, deep squats and that's causing you pain, then it's just not going to work for you. So the program needs to be reasonably well suited for you. It needs to be well designed, and it needs to be something that's not going to hurt you, but allow you to progress over time and get stronger over time. So yeah, you've got to look for that in a program, and a good teacher will deliver that. Do I think online training programs work? Yes. Yes, I do. I mean, some really suck, but there's some epic ones out there. That's pretty much all I've done for the last 4 years, and I'm really happy with my results. Now, are they as good as if I had been training with a teacher in real life every day? No, probably not. But they're still pretty awesome considering I was running a law firm, had 2 little kids, and had a pretty busy life. I could fit it in my own time, work out when I wanted to. So it really suited my lifestyle, and I am a huge advocate for online training. And in the future, I am going to offer some sort of online training myself, so stay tuned for that. But if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.